Okay, hello, people of YouTube land, and those that follow Tan and I on Twitch, and those that are part of the Cringe Crew Gaming Community Discord, and those that are listening to this on Spotify or whatever audio streaming thing that you have this on. I am Traductus.
And I'm Ted.
And this is the Cringe Crew Gaming Movie Review Podcast, where we take a director's filmography and we review it. Obviously, we are on Stanley Kubrick, and this is his film, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, but typically commonly known as Dr. Strangelove. This was released in 1964, January 29th. Had a budget of $1.8 million and had a box office return of $9.2 million. And now it's time to basically go to how this movie was made. This movie, by the way, did you know there was a book?
God damn it.
Yeah. This is loosely based off of the Peter George novel Red Alert, which is actually like a serious thriller. Dr. Strangelove is obviously a satire of that, and also the Cold War going at that time. Fun fact, the screenplay was also written by Peter George, the author of the book. So that's fun. The other person there besides Stanley Kubrick is this guy named Terry Southern. But cast, we have Peter Sellers as Group Captain Lionel Mandrake, also President of the United States Merkin Muffley, and the former Nazi and nuclear war expert Dr. Strangelove. Peter Sellers, obviously has multiple roles. He ended up Columbia Pictures agreed to finance the movie if Peter Sellers played at least 4 major roles. This condition was stemmed through the studio's opinion of that much due to the success of Kubrick's previous film Lolita, which was based on Sellers' performance in a single character assuming multiple identities. Sellers was supposed to also be Major T.J. King Kong, one of the B-52 bombers commanders and pilot. That is played by Slim Pickens. Peter Sellers originally wasn't sure if he was going to be able to do that role due to the fact that he's already doing 3 other roles. And he also, I think, broke his leg. Where that's why he couldn't end up doing that, so they ended up hiring Slim Pickens. But out of like the 3 roles, Sellers said that Lionel Mandrake was easy, and that was based off of his superiors while serving in the Royal Air Force during World War II. The role of President Merkin Muffley, Peter Sellers uses a Midwestern English accent and drew inspiration from the role from American politician Adlai Stevenson.
He also uses a really terrible fucking bald cap.
And also, originally in early sequence, to emphasize the character's weakness, originally Sellers was supposed to fake cold symptoms, but they later felt like that was a little bit too comedic and inappropriate, so they had Sellers play the role straight. Although in certain scenes, the cold symptoms are there, with Peter Sellers being very, very nasally on that. And Dr. Strangelove, on Contra Belief is not based off of Henry Kissinger. Because Henry Kissinger was just a obscure academic until the Nixon presidency, and this was made before that. And Kubrick and Peter Sellers themselves said that that the character is based off of rocket scientist Werner von Braun. Up next, we have George C. Scott as General Buck Turgison, who's the Chairman, Joint Chief of Staff. And the funny thing about this is that George C. Scott wanted to play this role straight. Stanley Kubrick's like, no, I want you to go over the top. And basically, according to James Earl Jones, Kubrick tricked Scott into playing the role far more ridiculously than what Scott wanted to do, by saying that Kubrick telling Scott to do the over-the-top stuff during practice takes, and told Scott that they would never be used, and it's just a way to warm up for the real takes. And obviously Kubrick used the over-the-top takes.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. What? Okay, I'm saving it.
And also there were different times where actually George C. Scott caught on and was like, nah, I'm not doing that. And Kubrick's just like, alright, how about this? We play a game of chess. If I win, you do the things my way. If you win, you do things your way. And George C. Scott, being a very skilled chess player, was like, all right, easy peasy. However, he underestimated that Stanley Kubrick was a better fucking chess player than him and won every time. And George C. Scott basically said that he would never do another movie with Stanley Kubrick ever again. However, he respected him as a filmmaker and immensely respected his skills at chess.
The more I learned about this movie, the more absolutely insane and unhinged it seems. I thought I just watched an insane piece of film, but now that I'm learning about how it got made, dude, just everybody's an insane person. Holy mother of Christ.
Since we mentioned Slim Pickens, we'll go with him next. Slim Pickens as Major T.J. Kahn. Like I said, the role was originally supposed to go to Peter Sellers, but he was injured. And according to James Earl Jones, and by the way, this is James Earl Jones' first film. He was Major Kong on and off the set, and things didn't change his temperament or his behavior. He was not told that the movie was a black comedy, and was only given the script for scenes he was in to get him to play it straight.
Good lord, dude. Unhinged.
James Earl Jones as Lieutenant Lothar Zog, the B-52's bombardier, and his if you aren't really looking for it, you're not gonna recognize James Earl Jones because he is super young. Luckily, he still has that same, voice that everybody knows of. Returning, we have Sterling Hayden as Brigadier General Jack D. Ripper, the paranoid commander of Burleson Air Force Base, and is basically the antagonist of this film. And the funny thing is that he is portrayed in this film as a staunch anti-communist. And I didn't mention this in The Killing because it was more suitable with this. The funny thing about this, Sterling Hayden was a member of the Communist Party for a brief period of time. And when he left the Communist Party, and while they were doing like the Red Scare and were interrogating people, I think he was in the middle of like a divorce or something like that, but like the US government threatened that he would never see his daughter again, so he gave out names, which was, he would say, the biggest regret that he'd ever had. And was also coaxed in by someone else to rejoin the Communist Party. So we have a communist playing an anti-communist in this role.
It's so unhinged, dude. It's so fucked.
And we have Peter Bull as Soviet Ambassador Alexei Sadaki. Keenan Wynn as Colonel Guano, who gets called Bat Guano in this. And I think the only other person in there would be Tracy Reed, who is a Playboy playmate, as Miss Scott, who is General Turgerson's secretary and mistress, even though she just has a bit part in this. I did not mean to say bitch part. I meant to say bit part.
What a slip. Jeez, Stallman, tell us how you really feel.
God. And funny thing is that she's also the Playboy playmate on the issue of Playboy that they're actually looking at, while Major Cog is just reading a thing on just read a Playboy magazine, and while he's in the plane. And the funny thing is that apparently the title on there that she was given on the Playboy was Miss Foreign Affairs, which is funny because she's basically sleeping with the entire freaking White House staff, or implied to in the movie. That being said,
we'll get into plot.
Other things,
if you got any.
I do have a couple things. There was originally an ending where it was supposed to end with a pie fight. Kubrick decided that it was way too far, so not consistent with the satiric tone of the rest of the film. Also, people the cast ended up laughing way too much, and also, there was also a scene during there where it's our great president has been struck down after the president gets hit with the pie, and due to the Kennedy assassination, that was definitely. Oh, here we go. Yes, gentlemen, our gallant young president has been struck down in his prime, and they had to obviously not use the ending of the film with that because Kennedy just got shot, and it's also why the line "a fella could have pretty good weekend in Dallas with all this stuff" was changed to Vegas.
All right.
And that's all I really have. Just, more interesting things that are kind of crazy about how this film got made.
Totally fucking unhinged, dude. I feel like I would be a better person if I didn't know half of that. So I'm going to move into the plot. I don't know. I don't really know where to start. It was just...
I know where to start.
Okay. So the idea of this is that they're doing plane exercises with bombers. They're strapped with nukes. They get the code that they're supposed to go and bomb the place they've been given their targets. We find out later that the code that they're given is the code specifically from their immediate superior that is only to be used if the chain of command is broken and the person who's supposed to give the command cannot, which is already pretty unhinged that they would have a code for when the code doesn't work just readily on hand. But we're going to leave that alone. So they figure out in this bombing run that there is this device that will reactively retaliate. It's so they get the war room, the U.S. war room, and Russia are then communicating to get the planes turned around or shot down. And then you're following one plane of I forget the total number, it was 50 something, I think, but
yeah.
There's one plane that they believed was shot down that wasn't shot down, and then they're running out of fuel, but they can't get the orders to turn around, so they're working on continuing this bomb run anyway.
And also, they're trying to get before all this, they're trying to get the code from the crazy general that gave these goddamn orders, because should I reveal the spoiler of why he does it? Besides that, he's just fucking unhinged.
I think we're gonna get there later. I'm pretty sure it's on your list. If not, I'm sure I will.
Yeah. It's also a like and a dislike.
Do you want to start with likes or do you want to start with dislikes? You drive.
I only have a couple dislikes, to be honest.
Oh,
The rest are likes.
my dislike list is much, much longer.
I figured. Okay. Not sure.
I guess let's start with dislikes, because I feel like we'll cover some bases from my list of dislikes into your likes. I think that's what's gonna happen. So
all right, I'm gonna go with like my main dislike on this.
Sure.
And I know you're gonna cover model use, but you'll probably have a better explaining that, because to me it's like I wasn't really bothered by it until you pointed it out during the movie that the model use
it was
great.
So bad, dude. They combined model use with rear projection, and the two of them didn't line up in the same places. So you're watching two different stimuli juggle each other. I was genuinely nauseous, dude. It was awful. And they kept fucking doing it, dude. Like they could have just stopped. It's a plane. Of course it's in the air. You could have just fucking stopped.
The other thing that I don't really care for, although I think it's kind of brilliant that the movie does this, but I could see it being off-putting for people. And that is, the movie's played very straight at the beginning, and then it just gets more ridiculous as it goes. And to me, that kind of makes the movie drag a little bit, and there are scenes where the movie does drag. And although personally, it doesn't bother me that much, because to me, I don't think it drags a whole lot. But I can seriously feel like somebody watching this and thinking it drags way too much.
I don't know if drag is the right word. I think like there's so many just redundancies that are unnecessary. It felt like
there's too much detail and processes.
I think it's just like there's inside jokes that we're not in on. Right, so like when we go to the war room the first time, there's two that really stick out, but the first one is when they're all sitting at the round table in the war room, right? They're discussing plans of attack and all that, like how they're going to go about this whole thing, and the dude just gets a phone call, and it's the woman. She's just like, "You love me? Are you sure?" Like, why did you put that? Like, it provides no value whatsoever to the film, but it took up 45 seconds of time where it's like, we could have been doing something else. We could have had a joke that fit in better. Like, okay. So one of my dislikes is that this feels like a Mel Brooks movie. And I feel bad saying that out loud. Like, I wrote it down yesterday. I pointed it out to Stallman yesterday, and since I've written it down and now I've said it out loud again, I feel bad about it, okay? Because a Mel Brooks movie, right, while the whole thing is fucking ridiculous, over the top, and stupid, right, at least the jokes feel kind of seamless, right? Like, Spaceballs is probably the most iconic one, right? And the General Scroob is in bed with the two women, and he just holds the book upside down, right? Like he's just panicking as the video call goes off, right? Like that's a hilarious joke, but it's seamless, and you don't have to care. They don't have to like fist that right into the plot line where it doesn't fucking matter. And the only reason I say that the movie dragging isn't the right word is because like it's not that the movie feels like it takes forever. I mean, it's just
there's a lot of redundant shit thrown in there that you're just like, okay, we get it, but why is it extremely detailed for this, you know?
Right. It's just everything just felt out of place. It felt like everything was an inside joke that we weren't in on. Everything just sat in a really goofy place. The comic relief that they threw in there was just over the top. It was unnecessary. They tried way too hard to make it function, and it just didn't work. It didn't work.
That's your opinion. I think a lot of it worked for me, but
I don't know, man. Like the scene where he's got to shoot the Pepsi machine for change. We've already established that the phone lines to this building have been fucking cut. Right? He has already picked up a phone. They literally just threw in the fucking phone booth and needing change just to do it. They could have
I
told
still
equally
find
funny
that-
jokes if the first phone they picked up worse, but instead they just had to have this shameless fucking plug for Pepsi Cola so that he can shoot the fucking machine. Like, fuck, dude.
Well, I just think it's funny. It's just like, it's private property. Like, it's just even more of a nuisance. He needs to get the fucking code to the president so the bombers get turned away. This dude that has no idea what the fuck he's doing. He just heard that. He's like, I'm supposed to get this dude on the line. Like, he's dead. You're here. What the fuck is going?
Man, it drove me nuts. Like, at every possible opportunity, they just fisted another joke into the plot that already didn't square up and work out.
I'd say like a kind of a dislike that I have on this. It has to do with the here's the thing. I like the reason why why Sterling Hayden's character, like his insane conspiracy theory, which is water fluoridization is a communist plot to impurify our bodily fluids. And so therefore, basically, he thinks that since he can't get it up in bed, that it's because communists put fluoride in the water. And that's why he's starting this entire nuclear war. That being said, I hate the fact that this became a real conspiracy theory that people legitimately fucking believe in now.
Yeah.
Like, it's from a movie, but yet you have people, and Alex Jones included, because of course, believes this shit. It's from a movie. It's from a fucking movie. Alright? I don't care if you think Stanley Kubrick directed the moon landing. He, didn't fake the moon landing. He was assistant at, filming on location, so they actually went to the moon.
Honestly, silly goose behavior, dude. The moon isn't real. Everyone knows.
My God. But, you get my frustration, though.
Yeah, I understand it. And I mean, like, my wonder is that if that was based from this movie or if it came from somewhere beforehand or whatever. I mean, like, to look at some of the propaganda machines that were used during the Cold War, like all of the things they handed on both sides of the Cold War, just like are absolute fucking insanity, dude. Like, it just, man, it drives me nuts. But so be it. I think the only real one that I didn't get to, is this plot feels super similar. Which was the one that we watched where, like, the one where they're disobeying their general's orders and they get held on trial.
Pass the glory.
Yeah, this was that, but worse. And hear me out, right? So it's, I believe in this thing, his own self-aggrandizing because he can't get it up, and it's the goddamn communist, so he's gonna take them out whether he's given orders or not, right? So he disobeys orders.
I'm sorry, I just think that's fucking brilliant, just because, like, seeing what we've seen with politics as of late, it's fucking believable.
Fine and dandy, I'm not getting into all that, but like, right. But then disobeys orders to lead them into what is then a certain death. Like, right. You're armed with the outside perspective about this device that if they do it, they die anyway. Like, it's the same plot, but it's worse. And the part about that's frustrating, more than the fact that it's the same plot. They're two very different movies. I don't mean to say that if you've seen one, right, you've seen them both. But the frustrating part about it is that, like, Paths of Glory just kind of felt long and unnecessary and dragged on. And this one was so short in telling the fucking plot that they could add, I don't know, an hour and 20 minutes of shitty, useless jokes into an hour and a half long movie. To tell the same, like, that's the part that's frustrating to me, is that we went down a very similar path, took a fucking hard left turn, to then just, well, if we fist fuck jokes in there, it'll be different, right? Yeah. Kind of drives me nuts.
All right, so now it goes to likes.
Sure. I really only have two. I'm gonna flip through them here quick. So I think Kubrick makes some very poignant stances on global politics without ever really taking a stance, which I think is really impressive for such a dumbed down movie. Like, he very clearly takes the opportunity to go like, hey, communism may not be that bad, but they're kind of like the Nazis, so I don't want them here, right? And like, he doesn't say anything. He doesn't give an opinion. He doesn't like do anything other than say Nazis are bad, and like it worked. Like in a funny enough way, he didn't really take a side on communism, anti-communism.
He did fun of the fact that the United States were like using like former Nazi scientists,
right? That's what
nuclear programs and shit.
And that's just it, man, is that he never picked a side, dude. We got halfway through this movie, and so there's another shitty joke that gets funneled in, and it's just like, is he communist? Is this him telling us he's a communist? And then at the end, as I'm really starting to believe it, the dude who's been the Nazi scientist in the American camp just starts talking about the perfect solution and genetic cleansing with the Nazi salute from his wheelchair, dude. Like, right? So he's like talking about this is how we survive the Russians, is just be Nazi, right? And clearly he's going insane. Like, it's just, he never makes a stance. Just Nazis are bad. I don't care which side you're on. Nazis are bad. Weird enough, it worked. The other part that I liked, everybody's a stereotype in the best way possible.
Oh my god, I love George C. Scott in this, because I forgot about. I know, like, there's like the iconic like lines like, it's like gentlemen, stop fighting. This is the war room, and then also you know, like, this is private. It's like, that's private property. I remember that, but I literally forgot the whole. Look at the big board, but the big board.
Man, just everybody. Like, as much as I hated the over the top, elements of this movie, like the idea that they made this bomber pilot a fucking cowboy, he's gonna fucking swing his goddamn cowboy hat as he rides the fucking nuke to the ground like it's a fucking rodeo, dude. Like, but everybody's a stereotype. They form fit everybody to be the most extreme version of exactly what the stereotype is, dude. The insane, unhinged, absolute fucking monster who starts this whole treason, I guess. This suicide bombing run.
His own soldiers are shooting at him. He's like, "Nice shooting, soldier."
Right, like the whole thing is just so fucking. Everybody's a stereotype, you know. The fucking, like, he's in there as a renegade with a cigar, talking about how serious the fucking war is and how important it all is. Like, but the problem is that he can't get his fucking dick up, right? Even Dr. Strangelove is something of a mad scientist. They always put him in a, in a German accent.
Who obviously is still under denazification because he keeps addressing the president as Mein Führer.
Right, just
can't doing the salute.
The evil fucking vague, like, it was a computer, right? Like, it's just like everything's a trope of itself. Super stereotyped. Everything just form fits.
I still love that scene where Peter Sellers is like punching his arm to make sure it doesn't do the Nazi salute, and he's like biting it. And the guy that's the Russian ambassador, you see it. He's like cracking a smile, trying not to freaking laugh.
Yeah, they very clearly had to use a different take for his one line during that scene because it didn't come from the same angle. There were different people in the background, and his form completely and totally changed from one shot to the next. And then they just go right back to the first take so that he could talk during the middle one.
Which makes me think, I bet you someone cracked up laughing and they
again, more unhinged, insane shit.
Another thing I really like about this is like how, like, you don't see like the Russian I guess prime minister or premier, like the head of the USSR. But I love the fact that like, you could totally tell what type of person he is just from, like, the freaking phone call.
Be careful, like, sir. He's drunk. Yeah.
And he's like, I know you're sorry. I'm sorry that you're sorry. I'm sorry that you're sorry. It's like, yep, we've all been there.
Man.
I also love how the doomsday, it's like, the whole point of a doomsday machine is for everybody to know about it. Oh, we were gonna review it next week. You know how the premiere likes surprises?
Just, man.
I just love how everybody's just so everybody's so incompetent at their freaking jobs. Because they are such caricatures of each other.
It's
Like there's so it just amuses me. Also, fun fact about the right in the at the the Major Kong right in the bomb with like the with the hat, like a rodeo, like he's riding a bull
yeah.
or Rocco. Fun fact, in Unreal Tournament there is a game mode called Strangelove, which is a capture the flag style game mode. But the only weapon you have is a weapon that's called the Strangelove, and literally what it does, it shoots a nuclear bomb that you ride, and the sound effect that goes out through the entire thing is a Major Kong going.
What the fuck?
Just wanted to add that in there, yeah. And another funny thing for the influence of this movie, as soon as Ronald Reagan was president, he went up to the Pentagon and asked where the war room. He wanted to see the war room. Here's a fun fact: there is no war room. At least at that time. Something tells me Reagan probably, made sure one was made. But that's just crazy to think, like, how influential, like, this insanity of a movie is.
Really, man, it's completely unhinged. You got anything else to add before we rank and wrap up? Not
particularly. No.
Okay. Well, I think that brings us to our rankings here. So, man, I don't know, because everything feels like shit. I don't know where to put it.
My God.
I really don't. Like, obviously, it's above Spartacus. I think it's above Lolita.
Yeah.
I think it's above Killer's Kiss, just because the Foley noises just piss me off so fucking bad.
Yeah, the sound in this is actually pretty, decent.
For the most part, it's pretty good. I think this is the first time I haven't had to complain about cinematography in a while, so let that speak to you. I guess I'm gonna put it behind Fear and Desire. I don't feel great about it. Like, I think they could go in either order, but it's gonna be fourth for me, right in the middle. I didn't. Man, it was so fucking dumb. I think if I went in like looking for a comedy, I could have a better experience with this. But which is what I did. It's just so dumb. Like, there's so many things that they just want it to be funny, but they force it in a way that just feels unnatural and awful.
Yeah, because I know that you thought the signs were a little bit on the nose with "keep off the grass" and.
Right, they're going through a fucking war zone on this goddamn base, and it's just like the Center for Peace or whatever the fuck the thing in the courtyard said. Like, it's just, man,
our job is peace.
Yeah, it's just like, it's like when somebody takes the joke just a little too far. Everybody gets their laugh scene, and then that one guy is just like, haha, a little bit further, and then nobody has a good time with it. This movie, the entirety just felt like that joke, that one too far.
I could see.
What's your?
So I had trouble putting this film as well. I think I'm gonna put this number 3, which would be between The Killing and Lolita, right?
I think so. I don't fucking know. Our orders have switched much harder this time than they did last time. So.
Yeah, because I have. Yeah, I have Killer's Kiss at last, so then it's Fear and Desire, then Spartacus, then Lolita. Yeah, so this is above Lolita. The thing is, I really enjoyed watching this movie. I really like this movie. However, I think Pass of Glory and The Killing are both like more cohesive. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, it might be just like I've seen Doctor Strangelove many frickin' times. Even No,
Internet go burr.
oh, oh, I, I didn't notice the signs, or at least remembered the signs until I watched it this time. Noticed before, and so it probably lost its like freshness with me.
Fair.
While the other two are movies I haven't seen, and so therefore it's just like, oh wow. So I still kind of have that impact, kind of like with you and Following with Christopher Nolan, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely fair. Well, as Stallman's internet is starting to explode, I think we need to wrap this one up. All right. As always, you can check out future movies with us in the Discord on Tuesdays. Stallman usually posts about them, so you can hop in there. The link should be in the description to catch up with each of us individually. You can catch both of our streams on Twitch. Stallman at Triductus, myself at Ted Green Eagles. Next week is a movie for sure.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
That's right. Yeah, Space Odyssey next week, Tuesday.
Let me look at that. Let me make sure it's that. I think it's that.
I was gonna say. I mean, I think at this point we're just playing the hits. So some good ones if you manage to catch up with us. Anyway, thanks for watching. We will see you here next week.
Yeah, it is Space Odyssey. Okay.
All right.
All right.
See ya.